Hello, everyone. Welcome to the broadcast for this Sunday. It is January 26th, our final stream of the month of January as we close in on the first month of the year. It's just gone by like crazy. I hope all of you are doing fantastic today and have had a very nice weekend and past week. Great to be here with you. I would like to say hello to DC. How are you doing today? I'm here first. Yes. Great to have you here, as well as what's this, Saline? Okay, interesting name. What little icon is that? Like a little flower thing? Interesting, interesting. I like that. Heathen Granny. Oh, Heathen Granny. You change your name a little bit more simplistic this time. Heathen Granny trademark. The pentagram, and then a feather. Okay, okay. Wasn't it like, it was like, I remember it was like a really long name before. How are you all doing today? Hopefully you all doing fantastic. We got our mice here. We got our amazing mice. There you go. Very, very nice mice. We have these two mice. We got this mouse. We got this mouse. We got this mouse. Boys, it looks just like you. Hmm? So, yes, we have those amazing mice. They are cute, aren't they? Look out, so cute. Oh, the cutest of the bunch. That's right, that's right. They always join us here every Sunday. They join us every Sunday, isn't that right, boys? How cute are they? Look at them go. Anyway. So, did all of you have a very nice weekend? I sure hope that you did. There we go. Well, kind of. A little dark still, but oh well. We'll just have to deal with it. Have our mice here that cannot block too much. I need my tea as well. Tea will keep me warm on these cold days. These very, very cold days. Yeah, we haven't seen you in a while, Heathen. Granny. Hopefully you've been doing well, and yes, I guess you've been changing your name a lot, right? Yeah, I think you still have like the same profile picture too. I don't know, but the name changes, or at least if the profile picture changes to that, like, that thing is scary. Your profile picture is just kind of scary. Oh man, funny stuff, right? Funny stuff. Let's say pentagram says that I'm a Satanist, and the father means Native American. The feather means I'm Native American. Okay, so you're a satanic Native American. Okay. You just removed the 666 on your name. Okay. Yeah, but I guess you don't need the satanic. You don't need 666 if you have the pentagram in your name, right? Ryan, it is great to have you here. How are you doing as well? How was your weekend? How have things been going for you? Hopefully they've been doing fantastic. See if we can take a sip of our tea. No, we cannot. I can tell already. I can't believe that the first month of the year is already almost over. Just a few more days left. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, I mean, we're technically like 1/12 of the way there. That's to do a correct after today's over, and I guess depending on where you live, it could already be Monday, because I know there's some people like in Europe and everything who are like, oh, it's midnight, or it's 2 a.m. or something, you know. So yeah, if you live in a different country, let's say after today, the year would be 7% over. That's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. 7% of the year's already been wasted. Let's see, you've been super, super busy. My guest post spot schedule is just insane right now. Oh, wow. Crazy. That is crazy, isn't it? Awesome, though. It's great to hear, though, Ryan. It's fantastic news. It's fantastic. Congratulations. Hopefully you've been enjoying it. That is what it's all about. If it seems too tedious and tiresome, sometimes you need a little bit of a break here and there, but if you've been enjoying it, then keep going with it. But always remember to be mindful of busyness. It's like, yeah, there are times that I'm actively working on something and it's like, oh, I should push through with this, but I'm like, no, I just need a little bit of a break. So I take a little bit of a break. So I used to ignore those things back in the day, but not so much anymore. I am now mindful and am aware. So that's what you got to do. That is what you got to do. Okay. Let's see. Heathen says, I also haven't been well since we elected. Okay. Carried out his promises. Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting. I don't know how many. That's the thing. It's usually with presidents and politicians, that sort of stuff. They never usually carry out their sort of stuff. They usually do some things here and there, but then they don't do other things. So, some things he said. I guess we'll see about all the other stuff. We shall see. I don't know. I'm not worried about it. I don't really care about it personally because I'm not going to get all worked up about it. That's just how I choose to live my life, not worrying about that sort of stuff. Let's see, I take breaks heavy now and again to avoid burnout. Good. Very, very good. I'm glad that you take some breaks because you definitely need some breaks here and there. Boys and ladies, we never need breaks from sniffing feet. Nope. We could sniff them all day and night. That's right. Boys, no one wants to see your foot fetish stuff. Although there could be some foot fetish people who watch. You never know. You never know. There are some interesting people out there, shall we say. So, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me. So, we're going to be talking about being spiritually disconnected. And I guess it kind of fits right in, I guess, if you have like a busy schedule and everything, because you're not giving yourself time to other activities, other things that could benefit you, or maybe some sort of break that you need as well. Because when we are spiritually disconnected, we are disconnected from a lot of the things that make us who we truly are. So I guess the big question to kind of begin this off with, just to think about, just to kind of ignite some of the conversation here is, you may hear like from different perspectives, different religions even, that we are spiritual beings who are living in some sort of human experience that we have. Do you believe that to be true? Or do you take a more approach like we are just creatures of this earth who just exist there really is no sort of purpose whatsoever. We are just creatures. We're just animals on this earth who are just here to consume and reproduce. That is what humans do anyway, but is that just our sole purpose? It's very interesting. It's very, very interesting. This is certainly something that I think a lot of us have contemplated. So I just want you to think about that. Have that idea and question in your mind. Because I think everyone has a different perspective on this matter. And I guess it really does depend on what your personal philosophical or religious views are on life even. Because if you approach life from a very religious perspective, depending on whatever religion that you have, because there's so many different types of religions and everything, but whatever perspective that you view it from, you have some sort of purpose that you fill out that usually is linked to your religious and philosophical beliefs. So for example, if you if you are a Christian individual and that's the religion that you believe in, usually a lot of these people can believe that we are born into this world with, some amount of sin that we have to repent for, or, commit good deeds in order to, prevent the negative sins that we are committing, or that we have committed. So things along those lines. Or other religions can believe in like karma, for example, where if you do something very, very bad in this lifetime, if you don't pay repercussions for it in this lifetime, you could in another lifetime, in your next lifetime, you could come back as an animal who is, being in a very negative environment in space, or someone who is like a slave who is, repressed, or things along those lines, karma. Or you can have people who are even atheists, who don't believe in any sort of God, and just that is their type of belief. So you have so many different ways of thinking about the world, and the way to approach it is going to be unique and individual to each and every one of us. It's going to be different. And it's very, very interesting when we actually think about it, because every single person thinks that they may be right with their religious or philosophical belief on the world and why we are here and why we are the way that we are. However, the big thing that we miss is that everyone has a difference of opinion. We don't know what the actual true answer is, and we will never know that. I feel as though even when we die and whatever happens after that, we still won't necessarily know the full story. We won't necessarily know everything there is to know. It's very interesting. So there's so many different things here and there, but let's see. Heathen says, I grew up Catholic due to my family being colonized by the Spaniards and never understood the Bible and why it's so unjust. Interesting. Yeah. I feel as though certainly a lot of people grow up in that sort of, especially, it really does depend on what country that you grow up in, because here in the United States, yes, that is like the dominant religion. Although, there's so many people who are, here now who practice various different religions, but that was like the primary type of religion. So you have that. But then there's also other countries that practice other sorts of religions. Like, I should just do as, a quick search. How many religions are there? I think the top two are Christian and Muslim, I believe. Sources suggest there are about 4,000 religions. Crazy, isn't it? Crazy. I wonder if I can find, let's see, the top religions, top global, let's say Christians, Muslims, and then after that it is unaffiliated, and then Hindu, Buddhist, and then just everything else is basically so minor. So yeah, Christian, this is as of 2010 though. I don't have an updated number on that. I'm not going to do any sort of research on that, but yeah, that is like, at the top there. It's very interesting. It's very, very interesting. So if you've, I made a video. Well, actually, I've made several videos on this channel in particular about what my spiritual beliefs are and how I'm not really religious, so to speak. But it's like, if I'm talking with someone, it's like, if I just want to give them a one-word answer as to what is my religion, it's like, well, I can't ever just give that in like one word. I just can't. It's like impossible. I just can't. So I'm just like, what would be the best religion that could define me? So that is when I was looking online. I did a few quizzes to determine, okay, I'm just curious. I think I did like 3 or 4 tests. 3 of them came back as atheist, and I'm like, I know I'm not atheist. That's just obviously this test is not. It's it's not really showing all the different types of religion of what I could possibly be. And then I took another one, and it probably gave. I was thinking maybe it was going to give me like Buddhist or something because I'm at least a little bit more familiar with that and I understand some of the ways that that kind of works. But no, it actually came back with a Taoist, which is I guess kind of similar in some sort of way, but it's different. And then I compared Buddhist to Taoist, and I was like, okay, Buddhism, Taoism, and I compared them both, and I was like, okay, I see why now it probably wasn't Buddhism. It was more this other one. So it's very interesting. It's very interesting. So I guess if people wanted a one word answer, I guess that may be it. But even then, it's like I don't really like, fully identify myself with any sort of religion. So it's interesting. It's interesting. So I feel as though a lot of these different types of religion, they give you, they give humans a idea or some sort of principle to live by so that they don't feel as though they lack a purpose in life. So if you follow a religion, if you're following some sort of philosophical practice, it's often because you have some sort of interest in having something to be a foundation to live by, as opposed to feeling as if life is meaningless. Because the idea that life is meaningless, that you're just here for no reason whatsoever, is a very sad realization to a lot of people. So while I can't sit here and tell you what the answer is, because no one's going to know that answer. It's certainly there is a possibility that, okay, yeah, what if we have no reason whatsoever, and that all this stuff that we talk about when it comes to religion or your spirit and all this sort of stuff, your higher self, and you're having a human experience, and you will go to heaven, or you will become a spirit when you die, and whatever else. It's just all human fantasy to make us feel as though we are more important than we actually are. Certainly that is a possibility, but it's interesting. It's very interesting, isn't it? When we actually really drill down deep and actually think about the ways that societies change, the way that people interact, the way that they are is very different depending on what their religion is. Very interesting. So religion is here basically to provide those answers for people. It gives them a set principles to live by so that they can follow something that makes them feel fulfilled in life. It's interesting. I'd like to say hello to IZ6. How are you doing today? I'll get to your comment in just a moment here. Let's see. So, Ryan says, this is what happens when man rewrites and edits Holy Scripture. A lot of things are adjusted to fit other beliefs. Yeah, that's something that's very interesting as well. Yeah, because how many times has the Bible been, changed with its text? So you can be spiritual and not be religious. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Which is what's going to guide us now into the next segment here, which is about being, if you feel as though you are spiritually disconnected. So I kind of laid down the groundwork there when it comes to your spirit, your beliefs, religion even, because religion is not the main topic here. We're going to move on from that, but certainly it is within the realm, because some of what my beliefs may be opposite of yours. So let's say the second coming of Jesus Christ. Let's say Thursday. Let's say Thursday the 26th. Okay, well, hang on. It's Sunday. Let's say. Yeah. Yeah, it's, I say that you should be able to believe whatever it is that you believe. Okay. So, I guess now if we start to break down the different parts of our body and our spirit as a whole. So if we think about ourselves, we have a physical body. And within that physical body, there's, many, many different components of how our brain works, how it operates. We have the ego. The ego is always the one that's right up front. It's usually the one that's more combative. It's the one that will save you in very bad circumstances, but it can also cause a lot of problems if your ego is not in check. Okay? And then you have the one that is like more suppressed. You hide, plenty of things, or that you suppress a lot of things that are causing problems. And this is something that is very natural to protect you from situations and trauma and that sort of stuff. So if you look at all of those aspects of our personality, our bodies, our mind are so complex that even we don't understand them. We don't understand why it works the way that it does, or how, or the reasons why it is the way that it is. It's very interesting. It's very, very interesting. But with that, it makes us think about, is there something more than just that? Certainly, there could possibly be that. So for me personally, I think that our spirit is something that is far more than what our physical body is. Something that perhaps we don't understand. Something that we cannot see, because it's not of the physical world. It's not of the physical realm. So any comprehension that you have of the physical is completely thrown out the window when it comes to being of a more spiritual, in a spiritual realm, a non-physical realm. And what do I mean by this? This is something very interesting. So in the physical, we have physical things that we can touch, we can see, we can hear, we can interact with. We can go from start to destination, from point A to point B. Well, in the spiritual realm, in the one that is not of the physical domain, there is no physical whatsoever. There is no X, Y, and Z axis. There is no matter in that sense that we think that there is. Everything is just there as it is. It's not physical in any sort of capacity. So for us to comprehend that, we wouldn't be able to comprehend that. There's no way that we can, because we live and we perceive life from this physical lens. We're seeing things in the physical. We know that if we want to go to a certain place, we have to walk to that distance. We have to go to that distance, wherever it is. Whereas in the spiritual realm, that doesn't exist. Those principles do not apply. So we cannot understand that. It's very interesting. So then what happens then? What would be the purpose of having some sort of spirit then? My personal belief is that we have some sort of reason to exist here. And that reason it's not dictated by any sort of religion. It's not determined by what any sort of religious, things say. And it's not determined by what society says. And I think this is the big one as well, society. We have not talked about society, but society shapes people in many ways. It makes people believe things that they wouldn't normally believe. It shapes their mind in very negative ways. It shapes them in ways that make them feel less confident about themselves, that they feel as though they have to conform to fit in. They just want to blend in. They just want to fit in. So they end up changing a lot about themselves because of what society expects of them. And because of that, society and what other people say, what is the norm in whatever society that you live in? Because remember now, it's like you can live in wherever you live, and your society says this stuff is all right. Where I live, it could say that those things are not necessarily right, but these other things are more acceptable and right. Or if it's a completely different country, it could be like, oh no, that is completely wrong. this is what's right, but you're thinking over here, no, that's wrong as well. So there's a lot of things that shape us, and it's the world around us, how we grew up, the things that we're exposed to, and the things that we can consume through the lens of this physical world that really shape us into different individuals that determine how we are. So your spirit is often, a lot of people are disconnected from it as a result of that. They're not really in tune with what they really want to do. Instead, they're just thinking about what is going to help them fit in. What are some things that could help them not necessarily be the happiest person they can be, but to please other people around them? That is where you can start to figure out that maybe there is some sort of disconnect with your physical body, with your mind, with your spirit, that there is some sort of disconnect there. Let's see, Ryan says, I was definitely spiritually disconnected until I started learning of indigenous spirituality. A close friend of mine helped me regain that. Okay, that is amazing. That is amazing to hear. Yeah, I'm really glad. I'm really glad that you've been able to find some sort of connection there, because I think each of our stories is very unique with how we approach being connected more with ourselves. And that is how I like to view being disconnected from your spirit. It's, you feel lost in life. You feel as though you don't know where to go. You are directionless. You feel as though there is no hope for you. Perhaps you feel as though you don't have any sort of purpose whatsoever. You don't feel fulfilled with what you do in life. Something is lacking. You feel devoid of something in your life. That is certainly a sign that you are disconnected from your core beliefs deep down. That you are disconnected from your spirit. Perhaps you're even blissfully unaware of what's going on in the world. And a very good example of this would be just people who really don't or want to think for themselves. People who just, go along with whatever society expects from them. If society says, this is what you have to do, this is what you will do, and you will be happy doing those things. And they're like, okay, I will do it. And then they follow and they do, and that's exactly how they are. And it's, they can't think for themselves. They're not able to be aware of what's outside of that box that they have put themselves in. They have deliberately put themselves in that box because they're not willing to look outside of it, because it's too hard for them. It's too challenging. Another good example of, being disconnected is if you have a lot of hatred. If you hate someone else, if you hate other people because of whatever the case is. If you have so much hatred in your heart that you can't let things go, you can't be happy, you can't just begin to accept that we're all different, that can be another big sign, primarily because you're not able to see that the person that you hate is often a reflection of yourself to some degree. In that you hate an aspect of yourself, so you hate this other person because of perhaps things that they have. Perhaps you have some sort of jealousy, or they're in a certain position that you would like to be in. Again, that comes down to jealousy as well. So you really have to think about, why do you hate? Why do you hate this other person? What have they done? I don't use hate in my vocabulary personally. I think that's just not something that I do. Because I can dislike something. I'm not fond of something, but I don't hate it. It's like, I don't like that. I don't like it. But I don't ever hate it. You know what I mean? It's like, I can see the beauty. If anything, if someone else strongly hates something else, I begin to think about, why do they hate that so much? And what should I be looking at to maybe say, okay, maybe it's not all that bad. I'm kind of the person who, I can see the positive, I can see the negative, but when it comes to certain circumstances, I will be kind of the middle ground, so to speak. I will be the person who can look at it and go, well, this thing seems bad on the surface, but is it really bad? This thing seems good on the surface. Is it really good? That's the real thing to be thinking about here, because if something seems very, very good and you're very excited and ecstatic about it, which, I mean, it makes sense why you would be, but then you got to take a pause for a moment and you have to go, well, what if there's some sort of other motive? What if there's some sort of other thing going on that you're not seeing because you're being too ecstatic by the positive outcome? You know, that could certainly be a possibility as well. Yeah. So yeah, you really have to think about what it is that, what do you hate? What are the things that are positive and negative for you that perhaps you're overlooking? And then also, I would say another big thing when it comes to being disconnected is just any sort of drug or alcohol consumption. I personally believe is also a very big thing to disconnect a lot of people, primarily because a lot of people use these substances as a form of escape from problems. They don't really address the root cause of their problems. Instead, they're using something to escape. And as a result, you're not able to resolve the inner conflict that you have, and you become more and more detached. So anything that's going to disconnect you from addressing the root causes of your problems can be a major deterrent with you connecting with who you truly are deep down. Okay. Let me take a sip of my tea here. Let's see, symbolism Z6 means Zeus Jupiter. Oh, interesting. I don't know what that is. No idea. No idea. Let's say, if you ever listen to the podcast that I do, you'll be able to tell that 100% in love with indigenous culture and beliefs. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm glad that it has helped you for sure. Yeah, I know I've listened to a few of the things that you've mentioned before. I've been listening to you and I seem to relate to a lot of what you're saying. I've been told that I'll be happy working a 9-to-5 and married with kids, and I'm like, no. Yeah, you know, that is what society puts pressure on us. Society says, here's what you have to do. Because here's the thing, at the age that I am, most people probably are married with the kids at this point. They would probably be married with kids a decade ago. I'm not, you know, it's like, so obviously situations are very different for me, you know, because I am in a very different place, obviously. But for these other people, if that's what makes them happy, then let that make them happy. But for me, that at the time, I would not have been ready for that. I can't imagine if I had a kid 10 years ago, my kid would be 10 years old. Actually, you know what, guys? You know what, guys? I do have a baby. I do have a baby. Do you know that? I do. I do. And you see him quite frequently. And he's going to be 10. He's going to be 10 years old this year. Here he is. Day 8. He's going in 1 month. He's going to be 10. We're going to celebrate his birthday. Isn't that right, boy? Day 8. Let's see what day of the week your birthday falls on, boy. It is on a Thursday. We're going to go to Chuck U. Cheese's, and it's going to be so nice. Oh, man. Funny stuff, right? DJ. Look how cute. Now he is not as old. Nope, I am not. I am not 10. Okay, boy, let's see how old you are. I don't remember. You're going to be 8, boy. He's going to be 8 at the end of this year. Hmm? Yeah, he's going to be 8 at the end of this year, but this one's going to be a 10 soon. DJ? 10-year-old Rhett. I'm sure you're wondering how I know all this. He's in my contacts. I have him as a contact in my contacts. I have his birthday. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? It's funny. What other person do you know has a contact for their stuffed Rhett? Hmm? But he's so cute there, isn't he? Look how cute. Look, and he can put his little paws together. Kind of. He's kind of fat. Look, he's clapping. He's so happy. He's happy. Anyway. Let's see, I barely know anything about the Spanish heritage, and my grandfather was very proud of our Spanish heritage. But I'm always new around our indigenous culture that I love so much. Interesting. You've always known about it, huh? That is really cool. That's really cool. Yeah, I don't know too much about my own family, I guess, but I don't know. Maybe I just never been too interested in it, I suppose. I don't know. I don't know. See, I think when it comes to like stuff of the past, I'm not a fan of stuff from the past. I like the things that are in the present moment and the future. I don't really like stuff from the past. I really don't. So it's like, yeah, it's like, okay, this is what these people did. This is how things happen, whatever. It's like, I'm not really all that interested. It's like, sure, okay, maybe, but yeah. We love our food. But look, that's a great, it's like you certainly are very connected with your culture. That's amazing. See, the thing is, what's so interesting? Probably my favorite kind of food is like Indian food. That's like what I eat like the most of. So it's like, I don't know, maybe I'm like part Indian or something. I don't know. But yeah, Indian food, I would have to say out of everything else that I've had, that is like my absolute favorite. So yeah. I wouldn't want to eat it every single day because when I have made it and I've eaten it before, after a few days, I'm kind of like, okay, I just need a little bit of a break from it. But yeah, so it's very, very good. And it's also very, very interesting as well because I've been to plenty of like Indian restaurants and everything. I've been to like Indian grocery stores. And it's funny because I'll go in there, and it's a lot of stuff that is imported from India. If anything, most of it is. And it's so much cheaper. So much cheaper than stuff that you would buy at your regular grocery store. A lot cheaper. We're talking about, I can get a big bag of something that would probably cost like $6 or $7 at a regular grocery store. And then at the Indian grocery store, it's like $2.50. It's like cheap. It's like, oh my gosh, cheap. Very, very cheap. And I'm also, let me tell you this, I am also the only person who ever goes there that I ever see who is not an Indian person. So it's like, I don't know. I guess I'm just like the only one who's just not. So it's very, very interesting. But yeah, I mean, I go there I have to go there again soon. I really do because I'm running out of some stuff and I need to make some more Indian food again. So. Yeah, it's very, very good. Very, very good. It's funny, it's funny. Okay, let's see. Ryan says, if you ever start your own cult, you could call it the rebellious, rowdy religion of Rishta, where feet reign supreme. I heard feet. I heard the word feet, and I love feet. I love feet. It is right. Worship my feet with your nose. Yes. Ah, boy. You're so cute. Funny stuff, funny stuff. So, if you are feeling disconnected from yourself, feeling spiritually disconnected, how can you begin to reconnect? Well, a lot of the things that we mentioned when it comes to you being disconnected, you have to eliminate those from your life. So, if you feel lost, if you feel as though you do not have a purpose and you don't feel fulfilled in life, get rid of that negative mindset and thinking and begin to think along the lines of, what can make you feel fulfilled? What are some things that would make you feel truly happy in life that you've always wanted to pursue and do? And go for it. No matter how challenging it is, go for it and see where it takes you. That is one of the best ways of being able to get to being more connected with yourself. Don't listen to what society says. Don't listen to what other people say. Instead, start to tap in what's in your own mind. What makes you feel happy? What makes you feel fulfilled in life? And go for it. Even if other people make fun of you. You know? If other people make fun of you, don't have them control your life. Instead, be your true, authentic self. And, I guess the other thing would be, if you have hatred, learn to love and accept other people's differences. No matter how weird or strange or peculiar or how much of the opposite they are than your own. Because we will run into people who, they have very different beliefs than us. You may not like what they do. But you have to understand why the person is that way. Why are they the way that they are? And not necessarily have sympathy for them. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying, have sympathy for, the most heinous people imaginable. I'm just saying, approach it from a standpoint of, obviously there's something wrong with their life, something that has happened wrong, really, really bad, that has led them to that behavior. That you have to be thinking of. And just understand, it's I'm not going to hate that person. I'm just going to say, this is why they are the way that they are. That's right, you have to spam those hearts. Spam them. That's what you have to do. You have to learn to love everyone, regardless of their opinions and what they do. I'm not even saying that you have to love everyone, but you just have to just accept that other people are different. And to not have intense hatred. And if you're using any drugs or substances to make you escape from the world, that is one of the biggest things that can disconnect you. So get rid of those things and start living your authentic life. That's what it's all about. Listen to your intuition. What does your intuition say about certain situations? What does it say deep, deep down? No, it wasn't spammy hearts. We like the hearts. Spam them harder. That's right. That's right. We like the spammy hearts. There you go. Can I do that on my end? Yes, I can. Look, I can really spam them. Or I like this one too. That's that face right there is it's like the shock face, oh my gosh, did I just say that? I've made that face before. It's funny. It's funny. I've been caught on camera making that face. It's funny. Hatred is such a waste of time. It's like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die from it. Indeed. I like that. It's interesting. Because hatred, it's like the person wants to seek revenge. They want the other person to probably, die. like, here, you drink the poison, but they're the ones drinking the poison because it's only affecting them. You think, let me say this, I'm sure there are plenty of people, maybe not watching right now or anything, there are plenty of people over the years who have come to my videos and who despise me, who absolutely hate me. Okay? You can't please everyone, okay? Even though there's going to be plenty of people who would love me, not everyone does. To say that everyone loves you and you trying to appease everyone is literally impossible. You can't. Other people will dislike you, dislike your thoughts and ideas, or nitpick things about you, or they will truly hate you and despise you and wish negative things upon you and your family, which is what I have encountered plenty of times before. But I'm just like, you know, I don't really care what you think about that. You go ahead and hate me all that you like. It's not going to affect me. It's only going to affect you because I'm on your mind for whatever reason, and you're obsessed with hating me. So I can't imagine anyone hating you. You're so level-headed. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. But the thing is, yeah, I mean, people do though. People do. You know, I've read nasty things over the past, you know, how long have I been on here now? 12 years almost. 12 years. I've read heinous, nasty things. So I just don't let it affect me anymore. Plain and simple. You know, it's like, why should I let it affect me? So I just don't bother with it. I just don't. So let's see what the theme for the end of this month is going to be. What are some things maybe that are troubling you right now? Maybe you need some sort of answer to. Let's draw our one card for a theme. Something to be mindful of. Something to be aware of. Something to give you some sort of clarity on some sort of situation. Maybe there's something big going on in your life, or something that you're worried about. Something along those lines. Let's see what we end up getting here. So we got, I don't know what that is. Let's say it is the King of Wands. Let's see what the King of Wands has to guide us here. Sir. He says, passionate, good leader, and noble. Maybe you can be, it's like he's like on his throne. Maybe you can be a leader. Maybe someone else is going to call you for some sort of advice. Maybe you can help them through a situation. Maybe you can provide some sort of insight into a troubling situation that someone else has. Or maybe you can be the leader of your own issues in your own life. Because first and foremost, before you help anyone else, you have to be able to help yourself first. If you're neglecting things about you, how do you expect to be able to help anyone else? You know? You have to accept yourself first. Okay. Let's see. Well, boys and girls and they, thems in the chat. My final closing words for you today are to do something this week that would connect you deeper with what you truly are passionate about. Even something so simple, and maybe something that you've been putting off, maybe something that is a bit difficult for you to start off with, that you don't even know where to start even. Try something else that will allow you to connect more with something that you're truly passionate about. Do something that, or start a project. Start something, do something that really makes you feel as though it's worth your time and that you're ready to embark on a brand new adventure. You know? Because we're almost a month of the way into the year. And as we calculated, it's like 7% done this year. So it's like, don't postpone it when it's like 8, 9, 10%, or even longer. So just start it now and see how things go. So, any final words, boys? That's right. I should not allow you to get the final word because you always talk about feet and everything. You're right. I do. We love feet, DJ. Boys, that is not allowed. That's not allowed. This is a family-friendly stream. There's no rat should be kissing. Okay? No matter how cute that they are. Anyway, with that, I would like to thank all of you for attending. That's right, no kissing allowed. Especially not with corona. You don't want to get sick and infected. Yes. That's right. So anyway, I want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you all again next month. So I will be live again next Sunday. Let's see what date that is. February 2nd, I will be live again. So I'm going to wish you all a fantastic week ahead. Thank you all so very much for tuning in. And I will see you all again very soon. So thank you. Take care. Have a great week. Bye-bye.